A short time ago I went to Philadelphia with a friend of mine who has this disease. We went to see a famous specialist, a doctor who has been treating this type of ailment for 38 years. And what sort of advice do you suppose he had hanging on the wall of his waiting room, painted on a large wooden sign so all his patients could see it? Here it is. I copied it down on the back of an envelope while I was waiting. Relaxation and recreation. The most relaxing recreating forces are a healthy religion, sleep, music, and laughter. Have faith in God, learn to sleep well. Love good music, see the funny side of life, and health and happiness will be yours. The first question he asked this friend of mine was, what emotional disturbance brought on this condition? He warned my friend that if he didn't stop worrying, he could get other complications. Heart trouble, stomach ulcers, or diabetes. All of these diseases, said that eminent doctor, are cousins, first cousins. Sure, they're first cousins, they're all worry diseases. When I interviewed Merle Braun, she told me that she refused to worry because she knew that worry would destroy her chief asset on the motion picture screen: her good looks. When I first tried to break into the movies, she told me, I was worried and scared. I had just come from India, and I didn't know anyone in London, where I was trying to get a job. I saw a few producers but none of them hired me. And the little money I had began to give out. For 2 weeks I lived on nothing but crackers and water. I was not only worried now, I was hungry. I said to myself, maybe you're a fool. Maybe you will never break into the movies. After all, you have no experience, you've never acted at all, what have you to offer but a rather pretty face? Single quote. I went to the mirror. And when I looked in that mirror, I saw what worry was doing to my looks. I saw the lines it was forming. I saw the anxious expression. So I said to myself, you've got to stop this at once. You can't afford to worry. The only thing you have to offer at all is your looks, and worry will ruin my. Few things can age and sour a woman and destroy her looks as quickly as worry. Worry curdles the expression. It makes us clench our jaws and lines our faces with wrinkles. It forms a permanent scowl. It may turn the hair gray, and in some cases, even make it fall out. It can ruin the complexion, it can bring on all kinds of skin rashes, eruptions, and pimples. Heart disease is the #1 killer in America today. During the Second World War, almost 250,000 men were killed in combat. But during that same period, heart disease killed 2 million civilians, and 1 million of those casualties were caused by the kind of heart disease that is brought on by worry and high-tension living. Yes, heart disease is one of the chief reasons why drive. Alexis Carrel said, businessmen who do not know how to fight worry die young. The Negroes down south and the Chinese rarely have the kind of heart disease brought on by worry, because they take things calmly. 20 times as many doctors as farm workers die from heart failure. The doctors lead tense lives and pay the penalty. The Lord may forgive us our sins, said William James, but the nervous system never does. Here is a startling and almost incredible fact. More Americans commit suicide each year than die from the 5 most common communicable diseases. Why? The answer is largely worry. When the cruel Chinese warlords wanted to torture their prisoners, they would tie their prisoners hand and foot and put them under a bag of water that constantly dripped day and night. These drops of water constantly falling on the head finally became like the sound of hammer blows and drove men insane. This same method of torture was used during the Spanish Inquisition and in German concentration camps under Hitler. Worry is like the constant drip of water. And the constant drip of worry often drives men to insanity and suicide. When I was a country lad in Missouri, I was half scared to death by listening to Billy Sunday describe the hellfires of the next world. But he never ever mentioned the hellfires of physical agony that worriers may have here and now. For example, if you are a chronic worrier, you may be stricken someday with one of the most excruciating pains ever endured by man. Angina pectoris. Boy, if that ever hits you, you will scream with agony. Your screams will make the sounds in Dante's Inferno sound like babes in Toyland. You will say to yourself then, oh God, if I can ever get over this, I will never worry about anything ever. Opening parenthesis. If you think I am exaggerating, ask your family physician. Closing parenthesis. Do you love life? Do you want to live long and enjoy good health? Here is how you can do it. I am quoting Drive. Alexis Carrel again. He said, those who keep the peace of their inner selves in the midst of the tumult of the modern city are immune from nervous diseases. Can you keep the peace of your inner self in the midst of the tumult of a modern city? If you are a normal person, the answer is yes. Emphatically yes. Most of us are stronger than we realize. We have inner resources that we have probably never tapped. As Thoreau said in his immortal book Walden, I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by a conscious endeavor. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, and endeavors to live the life he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Surely, many of the readers of this book have as much willpower and as many inner resources as Olga K. Jarvey has. Her address is Box 892, Coeur, Idaho. She discovered that under the most tragic circumstances she could banish worry. I firmly believe that you and I can also if we apply the old truths discussed in this volume. Here is Olga K. Jarvey's story as she wrote it for me. 8.5 years ago, I was condemned to die a slow, agonizing death of cancer. The best medical brains of the country, the Mayo brothers, confirmed the sentence. I was at a dead-end street, the ultimate gaped at me. I was young. I did not want to die. In my desperation, I phoned to my doctor at Kellogg and cried out to him the despair in my heart. Rather impatiently he upbraided me. What's the matter, Olga? Haven't you any fight in you? Sure, you will die if you keep on crying. Yes, the worst has overtaken you. Oh. K. Face the facts. Quit worrying one and then do something about it. Right then and there I took an oath so solemn that the nails sank deep into my flesh and cold chills ran down my spine. I am not going to worry. I am not going to cry. And if there is anything to mind over matter, I am going to win. I am going to live. Single quote. The usual amount of X-ray in such advanced cases where they cannot apply radium is 10.5 minutes a day for 30 days. They gave me X-ray for 14.5 minutes a day for 49 days. And although my bones stuck out of my emaciated body like rocks on a barren hillside, and although my feet were like lead, I did not worry. Not once did I cry. I smiled. Yes, I actually forced myself to smile. I am not so foolish as to imagine that merely smiling can cure cancer. But I do believe that a cheerful mental attitude helps the body fight disease. At any rate, I experienced one of the miracle cures of cancer. I have never been healthier than in the last few years, thanks to those challenging, fighting words of Dr. McCaffrey. Face the facts. Quite worrying. Then do something about it. Single quote. I am going to close this chapter by repeating its title. The words of Dr. Alexis Carrel. Businessmen who do not know how to fight worry die young. The fanatical followers of the Prophet Muhammad often had verses from the Quran tattooed on their breasts. I would like to have the title of this chapter tattooed on the breast of every reader of this book. Businessmen who do not know how to fight worry die young. Was Dr. Carrel speaking of you? Could be.